You can keep. This week, like you guys saw, I've been reading this book called Hope and Help for Your Nerves by Dr. Claire Weekes. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit, my experience reading it. I'm sure some people watching this before have dealt with anxiety or panic attacks or things like that. And growing up, I've always had anxiety and dealt with it in different, I feel like I've dealt with it pretty well. But last year, I think, because I've been going through a lot of life changes. Last year I graduated from college and started work, finding a routine as a young adult hasn't been difficult, I thought, but turns out, I guess it's been a lot of stress on my body. But I had a panic attack, a really bad one, last fall, or around Christmas, I guess, Thanksgiving, Christmas. And it low-key derailed my life, for a little bit, because I just had never experienced that before. And I think once I found out, oh, this is, really what it feels like to panic, I was like, oh my God, I just was living in fear of, the next panic attack coming, whatever. And I've been trying to figure out how to deal with that. It's actually been super helpful to read this book, or Hope and Help for Your Nerves, because I feel like the biggest thing for me, no matter how many times people would tell me that I'm fine, my biggest thing is, I have a lot of, physical sensations of anxiety, which I never had before, chest tightness, difficulty breathing, nausea, lightheadedness, whatever. And I've gone to the doctors, they've said it's, nothing, bad, it's just my anxiety. But because I've never experienced that before, and I've kind of, whenever I talk to someone, they just tell you that you're fine, which is helpful, I guess, a little bit. But then part of me with this new health anxiety, incoming dread of panic, it's not that I don't believe them, but it's just that it's just hard for me to convince myself. Anyways, reading this book has been super helpful, But it's been super helpful so far to like read this and like really get talked through like what each of these sensations are. And I know like as a 23-year-old, like I'm sure a bunch of people have experienced this before me, and maybe you're watching this and it's like, bruh, yeah, like you're late to the game. And like, yeah, I am. I feel like I'm lucky as like an anxious person to have not experienced a panic attack before last year. But yeah, I mean, this is just my life now. So if any of you have physical sensations from anxiety, definitely recommend reading this book. Going to the gym. Legal. Lunch is done. It's the Bibigo KBBQ fried rice with some eggs, and then these are pickled, what is that? Pickled Brussels sprout from the pickle guys in New York. I think the shop is in, where is the shop? It's either Lower East Side or Chinatown. Yeah, they're fire. Like they kind of look weird, but that's just because they're like a little bit yellow, but they're mad good. And the ASMR of the crunch. Ooh. It'd be awesome.
Once people get wary of that,
Yeah.
you've aged out or
Yeah. So I just finished, well not just, but I finished Hope and Help for Your Nerves and Anxiety Now by Dr. Claire Weeks. Overall, I thought the book was really good. I feel like for me, I've noticed this week, I've just been like trying to apply some of the things that she talks about in the book. And honestly, it's been pretty helpful to kind of reframe how I'm thinking about what I'm feeling and how I'm thinking about what's happening to me, which has been nice. I will say though, the second half of this book was less relevant to me, I think. And that might just be a product of like when this book was written. But the second half of the book really has a lot to do with, like, she keeps bringing up examples of a housewife, and that's not my current situation. So it was just kind of like less engaging. And the examples that she was giving always related back to like being a housewife. So I was like, okay, this is not like applying to me anymore. But I think overall this book, like I would really recommend it to people if they, you know, have tried a lot of different things to help with their anxiety and feels kind of hopeless. This is like definitely, especially if you're a person who's very pragmatic or like wants a very tangible explanation of what's going on. Even, you know, if your symptoms are like beyond physical sensations, if it's like anxiety, depression, like mental things, she touches on that as well. So yeah, super good. I really enjoyed reading it. Now I'm just gonna go to dinner and then maybe get a drink with my parents, but that's the end of my work week. It's been low-key productive, so yeah, now you'll see dinner and maybe a drink, and if not, this is it then.
Sorry, I'm asking. Thank you.
And then they were like angry about it.
Jude does not like the one that suddenly was taking his time.
Summer's a little different.
Yeah.
It does get a little crazy with it.